Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Westchester Collaborative Theater's Cheers to 10 Years. I'm Julie Griffin.
And I'm Ray Soto, and we are your co-hosts for tonight's festivities. We got a great show for you lined up tonight.
Absolutely. But first, Ray, I gotta say, you're looking great. I mean, way to step it up from the t-shirt and sweatpants. Really nice.
Thanks, Julie. And you're looking, Julie,
Yeah.
You're still in your bathrobe.
I'm what? I'm still in my bathrobe. Ray, I got it.
I got it.
Yeah, thanks.
As we were saying, tonight we have quite a show. We'll be featuring scenes from three of our most memorable main stage shows over the last 10 years. Lot's Wife, A Short Walk into Sunshine, and The Legend.
Don't forget to tell them the scenes are live.
And tonight those scenes will be performed live.
No, don't forget about the music.
Helping us celebrate our 10 years and WCT Music Series, we have two musical artists who have performed regularly at our Black Box over the years, guitarist and vocalist KJ Denhert and trumpeter Ingrid Jensen.
Whew.
Perfect timing, and you look great.
Oh, thanks, Ray. Also tonight, we'll be featuring some of WCT's writers and playwrights, and we'll take a sneak peek at some of the great things coming up next year. But first, we're going to hear from WCT's founder and executive director for the past 10 years.
And as we like to call him, our Writers Lab guru, Alan Lutwin.
Good evening. We're delighted you could be here tonight to help us commemorate WCT's 10th anniversary. You know, as the Grateful Dead once sang, what a long, strange trip it's been. And 10 years ago, WCT began its journey as an itinerant theater company, mounting productions at various village venues. We held workshops and performed shows at the Village Library Theater. We played at the Steamer Firehouse Art Gallery and senior facilities throughout the area. These venues were converted into performance spaces as we plied our trade and refined our mission to develop new work for the theater. As word got out to the performing arts community about our mission, our small band of founding members soon grew to well over 100 theater artists from the tri-state area. Over the next 5 years, our audience has found us and loyally followed our trek from venue to venue. We realized early on the importance of securing our own home and searched high and low for an appropriate spot. And then one day, we came upon this abandoned cabinet-making factory. It was in an out-of-the-way riverfront section of the village, and then it was in total disrepair, but somehow we knew instinctively it was perfect for us. With its cool industrial vibe, it was just right for an intimate black box theater space. For the next year and a half, we were hard at work converting it into our home. At last, we were ready for our opening day ribbon cutting ceremony. Once we opened the door to this new space, WCT really began growing by leaps and bounds. We were able to put on our shows in a true theater environment. We enhanced our writing workshops, developed acting classes and a web series, and we offered the space to others in the community. We also found to our delight that our black box was a natural habitat for music. We invited scores of jazz and other music artists to share our home. We cultivated a new audience who appreciated the intimate feel of a jazz club and the incredible acoustic sound emanating from its walls. Looking back on what we've accomplished over the years, I'm struck by our good fortune. Not only have we attracted some amazing performing artists, but we've been blessed by the support of an enthusiastic audience base. We know it takes a community to build and sustain an arts organization like WCT. An open partnership between our artists and our supporters has created this unique haven where the sound of distant train whistles and the bubbling brook outside commingle with the voices of a living, vibrant expression of art within. And now in this challenging period, art is even more important. Why? Because art informs and it soothes, and yes, it even inspires. It satisfies this yearning that can't be fulfilled any other way. As executive director of WCT since its founding, I'm so grateful to have helped build this unique collaboration of our company members and our audience. In the months to come, we'll look forward to welcoming you back to our theater space. But in the meantime, we may have to find some innovative ways to continue to have our voices heard until we can establish that new normal. I do know that we are a resilient band of brothers and sisters, and I'm confident that we'll come out of this period stronger than ever. I also know that we'll be able to build upon those magical moments of art when the artist and the audience are transported to a world where all things are possible and the future becomes a source of unending treasures to share and cherish. So cheers to 10 years, my friends, and many, many more.
Our writers are the heartbeat of WCT. They provide us with plays that excite and challenge and give us new material and fresh ideas.
And it is in the writer's lab that we see the fruits of their labor. They spend countless hours alone on their keyboards, cooking out stories and creating characters.
Here are a few of our writers speaking about the writing process and our WCT Writers Lab. And as you'll see, writers, well, they are a breed unto themselves.
Starts up here and then goes to here and then onto my computer and voila, a play is born. And then I bring it to a WCT lab and it comes alive.
I started writing plays when I became a master's student studying theater. And I've been in love with the process ever since.
I like so many things about playwriting. I think that my favorite is the thrill when the characters start taking over and you're just along for the ride.
I found out about WCT from a friend of mine, and I have loved it. I've loved the Zoom sessions where we listen to each other's plays and comment on them, and just learning how to continue to develop my craft.
The scariest part isn't the blank screen, but after you've puked out your brilliant idea, and then you have to figure out where to go from there. And the only way to find out if it really works is WCT's great readings, wonderful actors, and production people.
I love WCT.
Writing plays isn't always easy. In fact, some playwrights would tell you it's never easy. You get inspired, you come up with an idea, and then you start to write. And you write, and then you write some more, and then...
And then eventually there comes a time when you need to hear your characters. You need to see them on stage.
And then you need to get feedback.
Bum, ba bum, bum.
The dreaded feedback.
But if you're lucky, you'll find a writer's lab with talented writers, directors, actors who will give you the feedback you need.
Lot's Wife was written about 25 years ago when I was in a women's studies group at my wife's synagogue. We would regularly discuss the role of women in biblical stories, including the story of Lot and Lot's wife and the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. I was fascinated by this tale and I thought I'd write a play about it. But when I finished, I was not satisfied with the script. It didn't seem to work. And so I parked it on my shelf and moved on. 20 years later, I decided to dust it off and bring it into a WCT lab for a reading. Karina Ramsey, one of WCT's founding members, liked the play and suggested it be mounted to open WCT's new space at 23 Water Street in Ossining in March of 2017. I was very surprised and very delighted, of course. As part of the developmental process at WCT, I participated in dramaturgy sessions with Alan Lutwin, the founder of the group, and Karina, who was going to be directing the play. And with their input, the script underwent a considerable transformation. The first suggestion I got from Alan, which writers seldom, if ever, hear, was that he thought the play should be longer. And so I added some new scenes and completely rewrote the ending, which had been a major problem in the show. But perhaps the biggest transformation of all was that this play, which I had largely ignored for 20 years, now had a place in my heart. The show sold out pretty much every performance, and I was given the greatest gift that a playwright can be given, a chance to see my play on stage. Theater is a collaborative medium, but playwriting is mostly a solitary exercise. When playwrights bring their work into WCT, they add a much needed dimension to the process. Without the development that WCT provided, Lot's Wife would still be sitting on that shelf. And I would have never gotten this great t-shirt.
You know, Ray, I was part of that original performance. It was a great experience and so much fun to be a part of the first main stage production in our new theater.
In tonight's scene from Lot's Wife, we will be taking that biblical story and placing it in a modern time.
The scene opens with Sarah speaking to God about his promise that she and her husband Abraham, though both well into their 90s, will give birth to a son.
That's quite a promise, even for God.
No, you're not kidding. Then Sarah listens as Abraham talks about the fate of the city of Sodom and muses about his own fate as well.
Lot's Wife was written by Albie Gorn, and tonight's presentation is directed by Susan Ward and features Albie Gorn and Donna James.
Some storm they're having down in the valley. I hope Abram is all right. Is he all right? You never answer me. When Abram speaks to you, you answer. When I speak to you, nothing. I guess I'm just supposed to know the answer. You don't make it easy. Like this child we're supposed to have. Year after year, month after month, the disappointment I felt. Not from the cramps, but from the pain of knowing now was not going to be the time. I asked you why, but you never answered. After so long, I just gave up. I've accepted it. And now, you want me to start all over again? And who's to be the father? Abram? Oh, bless him. He is a wonderful man, capable of so much. But this, at his age? Oh, you make it so hard. Well, I guess you're gonna have to. And what am I to do with this? It's useless. I guess nothing is totally useless. At least it'll make him feel as though he's made something.
Sarah. Oh, Sarah, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank God you're safe. Let me get a cloth to wash your feet.
Oh, later. I've seen what I've been through.
Would you like something to eat?
Oh, no. You must listen to this. You must hear about what is there.
I have some lamb left.
Lamb. Maybe later. Let me tell you what happened.
Did you stop in and see Lot?
Oh, yes, and that.
Oh, how are the children? Are they married?
Well, yes, the two are. Just let me tell you what happened.
Of course, of course. Mhm.
Good.
Are there any grandchildren?
Not anymore. Sarah, look out at the plane. You see the smoke rising? Last night, didn't you hear all the commotion?
The storm.
Yeah. That was no storm. That was the will of God.
Well, so was a storm.
Sodom is destroyed.
The whole town?
The whole town.
Lot?
Lot escaped with his wife and his two youngest. The others perished.
Roni? And Gethsemane? That poor woman.
Indeed.
Well, where are they now?
I don't know. I invited him here, and at first he seemed agreeable, but then he changed his mind and left me.
Left you? Well, where will they go? Zoar?
I don't know.
Oh, I pulled Roni from her womb. That poor woman.
All those people. Think of it, Sarah, a whole town. I struggle to understand it all sometimes. My pot. What are you doing here?
Oh, I was just trying to salvage it.
Well, I guess it was useless without a bottom. Are you able to?
Well, I just started on it, but in all likelihood, it'll never be watertight no matter what I do to it.
I see.
Would you like that lamb now?
Yes, that would be fine.
I'll just go put it on. No, Abram, I didn't mean that you should.
It's all right, Sarah. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Maybe it should be destroyed.
But it was your first try.
So I'll learn.
Well, what will you learn from it now? It's just a bunch of broken pieces.
You can learn a lot from that. I prophesy, Sarah, that someday someone in some far distant time will find those shards and examine them, try to put them back together, and wonder, who were the people that made this? We'll come alive again. And do you know what they'll think of us?
Yes, that we didn't know the first thing about making pots.
They'll say, these were our ancestors. They gave us the skills to destroy and create.
Ancestors.
Yes. Our people.
Abram, what are you doing? Oh, Abram.
Surely you have not forgotten this, Sarah.
Abram, don't make a fool out of yourself, please. Abram, the lamb is burning.
So am I.
We knew from the start WCT should present live music. Music and theater kind of go hand in hand. An actor speaks his lines, a musician blows her horn. But what we didn't know was how much the series was going to take on a life of its own, cultivate its own audience, with a vibe that actually started to draw musicians into its orbit. A lot of that comes from the room itself. WCT is a natural music room. And from the first Ray Blue concert, it was clear. This is going to be cool. WCT is a concert cabaret experience. No table service, no distractions. That focuses concentration on the players on stage, which in turn creates a virtuous cycle of energy between audience and musician. There's an atmosphere of immediacy, almost a combustible compression, because every corner of the room's right at hand, right within reach. Whether it's musician to audience or vice versa, you're right there with them. There's a tactile intimacy. You can feel the handwork in the sound, see it in their faces. Sometimes it's even in their shoes. But it's always right there, that sound. Because WCT is an instrument. Our room resonates. We're like the baby Vanguard. The sound of the Vanguard is famous because the room itself is like the bell of a horn. WCT used to be a cabinet-making factory, and that wood comes through in the sound, especially on the acoustic instruments, and both the musicians and the audience hear it. We've achieved that rare distinction, a genuine listening room. So no matter what the genre, roots, Dixieland, gypsy swing, classic American songbook, or straight-ahead jazz, the WCT music audience is hip to it. They know we've got something going on. Even the location fits. Where's the jazz? Up the alley, by the tracks, on the canal. I mean, nobody goes up an alley to hear chamber music, man. No. They come to hear this. So it's like Garth Hudson said, the greatest priests on 52nd Street were the musicians, because they were doing the greatest healing work. They knew how to punch through a sound that would cure and make people feel good. And given what we've been through this year, God knows we need our music more than ever. So keep a song in your heart, the wind in your sails, and your little boat will be back before you know it.
Wow, we've had a lot of great musicians grace our stage, and we're really fortunate to have two of those performers with us tonight.
First up this evening is KJ Denhert. KJ has been described as an urban folk and jazz artist, and in 2015, she won an Independent Music Award for her song, Beautiful.
KJ has performed at sold-out houses numerous times on our WCT stage. And Ray, what are you doing?
I heard KJ was performing solo tonight, so I figured she might need some backup.
Oh, yeah. Ray, yeah, I think she's good.
You sure?
Oh, yeah, pretty sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very pleased to have performing for us tonight
Osening's own, KJ Denhert.
Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles smell like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That is where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. And someday I wish upon a star, way up where the clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. That is where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, if birds can fly, over the rainbow will. Why then, oh, why can't? Why then, oh, why can't? Why, oh, why? Oh, oh, why can I? Hi, my name is KJ Denhert, and we are here in my living room. I'm about to switch guitars. I've tried this several times. Happy cheers to 10 years, or cheers to your 10 years, WCT, or Westchester Collaborative Theater. It's been a great honor. I've played here many times, or there. I feel like I'm here. I love the videos and seeing this very cool hometown. I want to thank the director, Ellen Lutwin, for inviting me so many times and starting a relationship with me and with my band. Very excited to play with my jazz legend neighbor, Ingrid Jensen, who's coming up. And tonight, I wanted to do something that's from my heart. We've all been somewhat isolated, or I certainly have, and there's a lot of introspection going on. And I was actually a part of a songwriting workshop called Writing a Song That Matters, that's run by Dar Williams, and I've become part of the staff. And this year I had a chance, and it took a while, to want to write again. And that's what things like a community theater offer to people. And I think that's a great thing, and I'm very honored to be here. So this is sort of a soft premiere of a song. This is the latest song that I have completed, and I'd like to dedicate it to my mother. This is a time where some of us might be hoping to see our family. At any rate, thank you for giving me a chance to tell a little bit of my story. On my kitchen table was a postcard from Paris, tri-folded city map of Kathmandu, drumming her red fingernails on the table, distractedly watching the evening news. Final call, flight 57, now boarding gate 22. Call you when I get there, as I always do. Time is the constant, slips out the back door. I dialed the telephone and charged it to my room. Hearing the voice she saves for overseas calling, I hear a smile. Tell me, Carrie, where are you? When you play, are people dancing the way that we used to do? Even though she is asking, I know that she won't recall. When I fly home in June. Fly away, Jack. Fly away, Jill. Come back, Jack, if you will. There on the table, 2 cold Presidentes, a couple chance to dance. Just this afternoon. Oh, what a chance, farewell little island, to wind up dancing in your Crown Heights living room. Final call, flight 57, now boarding gate 22. Memories of my mother, are you calling me? Or am I calling you? Fly away, Jack. Fly away, Jill. Come back, Jack. If you will. I remember do you remember me that way? Happy 10th anniversary, Westchester Collaborative Theater. My name is KJ Denhert. Enjoy the rest of the show. Good night.
One of the main things that we remember about Joe is that he brought us to community theater in the Rockland and Westchester areas. There weren't a lot of plays that included Black individuals, and so we are grateful that he created stories for us and just created ways that we can be involved in the art community.
Yeah. And you know, we both knew Joe for a very, very long time, and we can honestly say that he was more than a director to us. He was family, you know, and a friend. And we can even say that he probably had something to do with us getting married. He directed both of us in the Underground, right? And let's just say some of the scenes he directed for us kind of had the sparks flying a little bit.
Yeah, he choreographed, in a way you could say he choreographed our love, at least in the beginning.
In the beginning,
so
yeah.
we are grateful to him. He was just a brilliant director, writer, and actor. And he made us better actors too, just with the way that he would question us about, you know, our character's intent and motivations. And, you know, we'll always remember him. He'll always be in our hearts.
We'll miss him a great deal.
Yes.
Joe wanted me to do this fist bump with the actor who was playing the prize fighter. And it was very funny because this action of doing a fist bump as a welcoming gesture when I first walked in just didn't come natural to me. So we had a lot of laughs over that. And Joe was an absolutely delightful person to work with.
Joe just had that type of character where, we would he'd always pick me up or I pick him up. We carpool a lot. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a long conversation. I'll be tired sometimes. And Joe just, he says, what's going on? Stevie Weavy, and why did I ever tell him my nickname? I don't know. And so Joe would get honest with me about a lot of things. And he wanted me to get honest about my acting and me as a person. He was never that guy to tell you how to act. He just wants to know, to challenge yourself and find your character. I learned to be diligent, and I learned to be honest about the roles that I portray. And I also learned that, I don't compromise. So this tribute to Joe Lima is bigger than Hollywood, man. I don't give a damn about no Oscars and Academy Awards. Joe Lima is that guy. We are the Oscars. We are the Academy Award winners when it comes to this dude. The actors that have come through Joe Lima's camp, you learn something. And you learn something about yourself. Smile. Because Joe Lima would want it that way. And do the best that you can. And always show somebody that you care.
Tonight, we have the great pleasure and privilege of highlighting two WCT main stage productions that Joe was deeply involved in.
The Legend, written by Rick Apicella, which Joe directed just last year, and our next play featured tonight, Joe's own A Short Walk into Sunshine, which WCT produced in 2015.
Throughout his life, Joe displayed a tremendous amount of empathy for those of us for whom navigating life isn't always easy. Joe said about his play that he wanted to humanize the mentally ill, and in A Short Walk into Sunshine, he does exactly that.
In the following scene, directed tonight by Mel Nocera, and featuring original cast members Steve Allen and Keith Bullock, we see KC still finding his footing after being released from the hospital, reconnecting then with his ex-brother-in-law, Max.
Come on, Sarah, you gotta hurry up or we're gonna be late. Always did take her forever to get dressed.
Where you taking her tonight?
Well, first we go on by the restaurant. I want your sister to see how Waller's coming.
The healthy soul food shack?
Joint. We're calling it B&M's Healthy Soul Food Joint. Then we're gonna catch a flick.
You really think people gonna buy that stuff, man? It don't even sound right.
What don't sound right?
Healthy soul food. It's a contradiction in terms. You see, good tasting soul food supposed to be greasy. Got a little pork floating in it.
That's where you're wrong, young blood. That stuff may taste good, but it will clog your arteries in a hot minute.
I ain't say it was good for you. I said it tastes good.
Oh, mine's gonna taste good.
Not if you make it healthy, it ain't.
Word, it'll be good. You just wait and see.
Yeah, okay. How you gonna fry the chicken?
Not gonna fry it.
Say what?
Gonna bake it.
Baked Southern fried chicken.
That's right. We got special pans that cook it up nice and crisp. You never know that it was fried.
Bet you will.
Square business. You couldn't tell it if I didn't tell you.
Ooh, I'm sure Sylvia's is scared to death.
You just wait, you'll see.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
When did you become such an expert cook anyway?
Well, one of the times when I was in the hospital, they assigned me to the kitchen.
There's a big difference between washing pots and pans and cooking, chump. I figured even you would know that.
Shoot, I know I can cook better than you. See, you forget we had to eat your mess when Sarah wasn't home. Oh, we prayed she wouldn't have to work late. Nearly died of food poisoning.
Well, you ain't got to worry about it because I ain't doing the cooking. Bucci is.
Bucci? Hector Bucharo? Come on, man. He's Spanish. What the hell does he know about cooking soul food? Healthy or otherwise?
He's done a lot of cooking. He's been catering for years.
Is that what they taught him in prison?
Look, boy, you ain't in no position to cast no stones.
Hey, I ain't spent no time in no jail.
He ain't seen the inside of a loony bin.
Well, I got integrity. I ain't no thief.
At least Bucci is mentally balanced.
Why you always gotta be yanking my chain?
I was just having a simple conversation, and you decided to get ignorant. You always get ignorant.
Hey, it's not my fault you decided to go into business with a jailbird.
Just stop it, okay?
Yeah, okay. How you gonna make collard greens without having a piece of pork floating in?
We're using smoked turkey.
Well, that ain't gonna replace no ham hocks and no pig's feet, I tell you that right now.
I'm telling you, man, you can't tell the difference.
Maybe you can't. But anyone with refined culinary taste buds like myself will know in a heartbeat.
It tastes the same. And not only that, all those folks out here that won't or shouldn't be eating pork will be lined up in my joint.
How you know it's healthy?
What do you mean, how do I know it's healthy?
How do you know it's healthy?
Because it is. We're not using any pork or grease.
How do you know smoked turkey is healthier than ham hocks?
Because it is. Any idiot knows that. Almost any idiot anyway. Baby, you ready yet? Your brother's about to drive me crazy.
I don't see how it's healthy. It's smoked meat. It's got a lot of salt. I don't see how smoked meat is healthy.
What are you talking about? People are eating a lot of turkey these days because it's healthier for you.
That is true. That is true. But that is the unsmoked breast meat. See, the meat you're talking about has a lot of salt and artificial crap, which is likely to kill you more than anything else.
I got a nutritionist going over all the details. We're going to be printing stuff like calories and whatnot all over the menu.
I sure hope the Better Business Bureau don't cite you for false advertising.
Man, you don't know what you're talking about.
You forget, I majored in business at Columbia.
Don't stop your lying, man.
That was my major at Columbia.
Even if it was. You only went to Columbia half a semester before you flipped out. I don't know what happened to you. You used to be such a smart kid. Pain in the butt, but you was a smart kid. I figured for sure you was going to do something with your life.
I am going to do something with my life. I still got time to make my mark.
Well, just take one day at a time. Say, look, you say you got some experience in the kitchen?
Yes, some.
Well, I know Bucci's going to need help in the kitchen. You interested?
I don't know. I got something more intellectually challenging in mind.
Just think about it. Maybe it could hold you over till a better gig comes through.
And I got my SSI checks for that, but yeah, I'll think about it.
Come on, Sarah, you ain't ready yet?
Another musician that has graced the WCT Music Series stage has been hailed as one of the most gifted trumpeters of her generation. Ingrid Jensen was the 2019 recipient of the Jazz Journalist Trumpeter of the Year Award.
She has performed at numerous international festivals and is currently on faculty at both Purchase College and Manhattan School of Music.
Hey, Ray, no bongos?
I think she has it covered. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to have with us tonight
John Weekon on drums, Nate Radley on guitar, and another Austining resident and brilliant musician, Ingrid Jensen.
Thank you, everybody. It is such a thrill to be here and to have heard the amazing KJ Denhert. She is just the treasure of all treasures here in this wonderful town that we have chosen to settle in and raise our child in. It's a pleasure to be playing a short set of music for you this evening that I put together that kind of relates, I think, a little bit to a lot of places we're all at emotionally, physically, and not so physically these days. The first tune we'll start with is our rendition of I'll Be Seeing You, which was one of my mom's favorite tunes. And we'll be seeing each other one day in that wonderful black box theater that we love playing in. It's one of my favorite rooms actually, ever. And out of I'll Be Seeing You, we're going to do something I wrote called Hope's Trails, which I wrote during a time when we had a president named Barack Obama. And we're going to quote a little song at the end. We'll see if you get it, but just in case you don't, the great Angela Davis said she thinks this song should be the national anthem, and I get goosebumps when I think about it. I think she might be right. So I hope you recognize it. Thank you again for being here, and thank you for this wonderful band, Nate Radley and John Weekon. And I'm wearing a mask because Nate doesn't live with us. Yeah.
I wanted to create a boxing story for the stage, and William the Legend Rodriguez was born. He's a young boxer who doesn't speak. He wears a hood. He's exceptionally gifted, and he's incredibly misunderstood. Originally, I told the tale as a one-man show, but I knew the definitive version had yet to be written. When I joined WCT, I had the story, but I wanted it to grow. So I brought the idea to Alan, and he encouraged me to bring what I was working on to the lab. And through the writer's lab process, hearing the piece out loud, getting interpretations from fresh actors, the story really took off. And most importantly, a love story emerged between Andrew, who is the mentor and trainer, and Rose, who is the surrogate mother of William the Legend Rodriguez. Their relationship grew and grew and grew and really became, I think, what anchored the entire story together and made it a more universal tale that all people from all different walks of life and all ages could relate to. And it was an invaluable process. WCT selected the Legend to be part of their main stage production, and it was a wonderful experience with a hard-working, talented cast and crew. And the aesthetic was just right, the tone of the piece was just right, it fit the space wonderfully. The audience really loved it, and I was very, very proud of it. And most importantly, it was directed by my friend Joe Lima. I feel very grateful that I was able to go through this process with him. It was a wonderful experience.
Hey, Julie, what are you doing?
You know, Ray, boxers are known for their pre-game chatter. I think it's pretty cool that Rick wrote a play about a boxer who doesn't speak. Hey, how do I look?
Floating like a butterfly and stinging like a baby butterfly.
You know, did I tell you I'm thinking about writing a play about a co-host who doesn't speak? Whew, that wore me out.
Boxing's not for everyone, Julie, and that's one of the themes in Rick's play, that sometimes when you love someone, you have to let them follow their heart.
In this next scene from The Legend, Rose, the aunt and guardian of the young boxer William, confronts Andrew, William's trainer, and they soon discover they have more in common than they thought.
The Legend was written by Rick Apicella. Tonight's scene is directed by Christopher Arena and features Susan Courtney and Tommy Lloyd.
I can't stop feeling embarrassed.
Don't. You're the only one who did anything. I just sat there tongue-tied.
I'll come to you. God, what the heck would I have done if I actually got to him?
Well, that's why we don't street fight, Rose. I mean, you open up that door, there's no telling what's on the other side. Sometimes it's nothing, but sometimes... So, why'd you come to the press conference?
Well, I heard about it, and I was scared he might not be able to express himself, and he might need a big mouth in his corner.
Your instincts are right. They're your maternal instincts.
Yeah, I am beginning to feel like I am his mother, like he's my son. Isn't that what mothers are supposed to do? Support their children even if they don't agree with their decisions and suffer in silence?
Oh, you weren't silent today.
No, I wasn't.
You know, that was my first press conference.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I usually coach the undercard guys, you know, small time. But this, sure no small time.
Oh. Do you think William will show up?
Oh, he will.
Do you think he should?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it might be too much too soon.
Well, did you tell William that?
Well, I did.
What'd he say?
Nothing. The important thing is that he doesn't think it's too soon. Oh, he's got confidence. He's got more confidence than I could ever dream of. Oh, you'll be okay.
Well, I better go in. I have work tomorrow.
Oh, where do you work?
The library.
You know, I have a degree in English.
Really? I thought you were a boxer.
Well, I was, but I got it afterwards.
How long were you a boxer?
I was a boxer for 3 years.
Were you any good?
No.
Why not?
Well, I couldn't seem to stop from getting hit. I mean, I knew what I was supposed to do. I just couldn't do it. So I went to city college. That's what my father wanted.
He was an intellectual.
No, he was a boxer. No, but he was a magnificent boxer, a tremendous boxer. Did you know that he was the number one middleweight, the contender for the middleweight championship of the world at the height of his career?
Yeah, like Rampage.
Not quite. No, my father was soft-spoken. He was a kind man. He loved to paint. Artist. Vincent, the artist Sirocco. He saw boxing as an art form. And he saw that it was the kind of art form that deserved the utmost respect and discipline.
So what happened?
Hmm?
Did he win?
No. No, he didn't win.
Oh.
Hey, so, who's your favorite author?
Oh, God. I don't know. Shakespeare?
Oh, day, night, hour, tide, time, work, play. Alone in company, her care have been to have her matched.
Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, I had to memorize that in high school. I don't remember who said it.
I'm more of a King Lear girl myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who's your favorite author?
Oh, I don't know. Dr. Seuss?
Really?
I mean, I do like him, but Homer, maybe. I don't know. Does that sound like I'm trying to sound smart?
No. Sounds like a man who loves legends.
Yeah, legends.
What?
I hope I can hope I can be everything that William needs to be. I just hope that I can be as good as he needs me to be.
Look, you know, I still don't believe that being a boxer is what's best for William. But he's a grown man and he's made a choice, and I've chosen to stand by him. So you better be as good as we need you to be.
Look, I know what you're going through, Rose. Nobody gets beat up more than the boxer's family. And no one knows that better than me. I give you my word. I'll protect you, boy.
Well, you better.
So you coming to the bout?
I don't know.
Well, if you want to come, I'll leave you a quarter.
I don't know if I want to come, but I might come. I don't know.
Well, if you do come, don't buy a ticket. I'll leave one for you there at the gate.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
For what?
I don't know. I enjoy your company.
Thank you.
Actors are a big part of the WCT. We participate in the writing labs, which allow the playwrights the opportunity to hear their works come to life.
And then we help take those plays to the next step, a showcase with an audience.
It truly is an amazing experience as an actor to read a play in development and then take that play to the stage and perform it for the very first time.
Speaking of first times.
Ray?
Acting. I was talking about acting. What were you thinking?
Acting? I was totally thinking about acting.
So
Also,
Julie, what was your first role?
Oh, I played the old lady juror in a play called Jury Duty, and I was in the 7th grade. What about you, Ray?
I was 10 years old and I was in The Wizard of Oz. If I only had a
Oh,
brain.
that's so sweet.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I began acting at the age of 51 in a community theater production. I wasn't very good, and it motivated me to take classes and dive deeper into the craft. It has changed my life.
In 2nd grade, I was in a class play. I played a girl, and it was all about recycling.
My acting career started about 3 years ago when on a lark I auditioned for WCT's production of 12 Angry Men. I was cast as juror number 10.
In the 4th grade, I played Rip Van Winkle. They put baby powder in my afro to make it white, and I had a cotton ball beard tied to my head. And guess what happened? The beard fell off during the performance.
In the 3rd grade, I was cast as the Queen in The Tale of Mother Goose. I believe that's what it was called. But anyway, how'd they know?
In 2016, I played the part of Dave in the play Like a Virgin, and my character's role was to become a virgin again.
In 7th grade, I was cast as Mrs. Cratchit in A Christmas Carol. I was so excited. It was a very coveted part.
I was the bosun in HMS Pinafore. I didn't realize that I started the whole show. The pin spot hit me and I said, "Why are they all looking at me?"
My mother always liked to say that I was acting from the moment I was born, but the fun really started in 6th grade, and I got the lead role of Chantal in L'Esprit de Paris.
Once upon a time in a land long ago, this boy in front of me was cast as Judas Maccabeus in the foreign play. Black paper mustache, Crayola gold crown. Performance lasted 5 minutes, but the memory, a lifetime.
In 4th grade, I played a ghost. I didn't have a lot of lines, but I got to do a lot of this. It was great.
My first role was at a Christmas pageant. My one and only line as a 3-year-old, I said to the reindeer, "I wish you Merry Christmas." And I turned to the audience and said, "How can you Merry Christmas?"
No, I couldn't forget my first time. It was Randolph McAfee in a high school production of Bye Bye Birdie. I was in 7th grade.
I was in 6th grade, senior year of elementary school, and I vividly remember having to do my ABCs and like different emotions, and I booked it! Yay!
There I was. This had to be the greatest part in the whole world. I got to have the script in front of me. I was the narrator for a puppet show.
Turn back, oh man, forswear thy foolish ways. Guess.
I grew up dancing, and one day I decided to audition for the ballet and the King and I in a local production. Well, forget about it. I was hooked.
As we look ahead to the first half of 2021, I just know there's going to be flying cars.
Well, Julie, I don't know about flying cars, but I do know that the WCT is planning a very busy season. First in March, we start off the year with a live stream living arts event.
And then in May, we kick off our new initiative, our New Voices reading series, which will showcase new writers from our surrounding Hudson Valley community.
One of the most exciting aspects of the Westchester Collaborative Theater is extending the collaborative part beyond the theater. And for the past several years, we've been working with the Austining Arts Council on a living art event. Each year, the Arts Council invites our playwrights to come to an art exhibit that they hold and to find a piece of art that speaks to them and then to write a short piece about it. The playwright then takes that work and brings it to our bi-monthly meetings and works on it, and eventually it becomes a part of our living art event. The culmination of all this work is a docent-led art event that will feature the plays inspired by the artwork. And we're planning on doing this in March, and I'm very honored to say that I'm going to be directing it. Here's a quick snapshot of one of those plays, written by Carol Mark. It's called Hey Dad, and it's inspired by the work of Keith Gordon entitled Joe.
Hey, Dad. That was quite a morning, huh? The whole department showed up. And a few units from a couple of towns over. Standing room only. And full color guard. You guys sure know how to take care of your own. And speaking of which, you didn't happen to notice Aunt Jenny this morning, did you? Who am I kidding? Of course you did. You never miss a thing. Probably still don't, even from your new vantage point, but just in case, she was in rare form. Of course, she's one of the first people there, standing right up in front, which is okay. But then she breaks the receiving line, walks right past Mom, straight over to me, and with that with that balled up Kleenex in the one hand and the purse in the other hand, and those big, sad, puffy red eyes, and she says, "Joey Jr., sweetheart, I gotta tell you something." And well, I'm looking all around me at all these people standing in line, waiting to shake our hands and hug us and tell us how sorry they are. And my mind is saying, now, Aunt Jenny, you got to tell me something right now? And at that point, she drops her purse right on the casket. Oh, I mean smack dab in the middle. And then she blows her nose into that Kleenex so loud, it's like a flock of geese are flying overhead. And she whispers, "Listen, kid, you got to hear this." I'm not kidding, Dad. She sounds just like Humphrey Bogart from Casablanca. I mean, I'm picturing prop planes out behind the funeral parlor with engines running, ready to fly us off to Lisbon. And then she says, "You remember the day you told your father you wanted to drop out of the fire academy?" Remember? How could I forget? That was one of the worst days of my life. But what I can't figure out is why she's bringing it up now. And in the very next sentence, you tell him you want to go to art school. Art school. Oh, I thought he was going to drop dead right there on Christmas Day. Dad, at this point, my mind is screaming, somebody please take this woman away. But instead, she leans in even closer and says, "Your father paid for it, your art school. All of it. It wasn't me, it was him. He made me say it was me, but it wasn't. It was all him." And at that point, she pats my cheek, tells me she loves me, and she waddles off. So it was you, huh, Dad? You're the one that paid for my art school.
I always knew you'd turn up, I have to admit.
At first, I had strange symptoms.
Berthold has been dead
I pictured
for 30
myself
years.
screaming.
I said,
drizzly
November in my soul.
Overall, I felt amazing.
A couple of years ago, I approached Executive Director Alan Ludwin about the possibility of developing a program that would give an opportunity to the elderly community to tell stories from their lives in a public setting. Alan was very receptive and, as a matter of fact, had long had a similar desire to reach out to the senior community as part of WCT's mission. Two other WCT members have also spoken to Alan about developing and presenting works created by high school and college students and works focusing on people of color. WCT seeks to welcome and include everyone in our community and to provide a platform through which to develop those voices in the creation of dramatic works. So we are extremely grateful to have received an Arts Westchester program grant to support this vision. The inaugural New Voices Reading Series of 2021 will therefore celebrate young voices, the voices of people of color, and senior voices. We're very excited about this program, and we look forward to sharing it with you next spring.
Well, Ray, we made it to the end of the show. Woohoo!
Whew. But before we wrap up, we just want to say a few words. This year, as we all know, has not been an easy one.
Some of us have lost jobs, some of us have lost opportunities, and some of us have lost loved ones.
Please know we are thinking of all of you and that you are in our hearts.
Now, as we saw from tonight's show, WCT has packed a lot into the last 10 years, and it's been fun tonight highlighting just a handful of the many plays, events, and music that have lit up our lives as well as our stage.
A big thanks to everyone, from our executive director for all our 10 years, Alan Ludwin, and to our writers, directors, and actors.
And to our members, our volunteers, and our sponsors, who for the last 10 years have worked very hard to help make WCT a vibrant and successful arts venue.
A big thanks to our production staff for tonight's show, our producers, directors, and actors, and everyone who contributed.
And especially to the wizards behind the magic curtain, Julia and Loudon, for making this evening possible. We look forward to next year and to better times and to reopening our theater and to all of us getting back together again.
I know I'm looking forward to wearing pants again.
Oh, cheers to that. Oh, and cheers to all of you for spending your evening with us. Cheers, Ray.
Cheers, Julie, and cheers to WCT's 10 years and many, many more.
Woohoo!
Yeah.